Yeah, Lauren did a theme song for our podcast.
Snitch, fucking snitch.
Snitch. Tell us more. I would love to hear about this podcast, particularly if it's about snacks.
So I'm co-hosting a new podcast with Conrad and Linda called Let's Talk About Snacks. And you guessed it, we talk about snacks. But yeah, if you want to hear me rap about snacks and then listen to us talk about snacks, it's called Let's Talk About Snacks.
I love snacks, and I love the idea of listening to all of you, as should everyone listening.
You can go and subscribe to it now wherever podcasts are found, but especially on Apple Podcasts, which is the only one that actually matters, and you give it like a 5-star rating and a review, and I appreciate you for that moment.
Say, Conrad, if I wanted to financially support this podcast, though, where would I go to do that?
Well, it's funny you should ask, Chris. You would do that at patreon.com/Let's Talk About Snacks.
Ooh.
We're also starting an Instagram.
Is Apple Podcast the secret to the algorithm? Is that how you hack it?
That's just the biggest audience.
Apple Podcasts is the biggest one, and it's the only one where like the ratings actually seem to do anything.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of garbage so that you don't have to.
Oh, I don't like that tagline.
Like...
Did we eat something together that I forgot about?
No, it's similar to another catchphrase from another thing.
Oh, never mind. It's coming back.
Yep. What am I?
Oh yeah, it's coming up. It's definitely coming up. It's returning, one could say. Ugh.
But yeah, you know how this show can be a lot sometimes.
Your voice is really selling it.
I'm not wrong. Why are you booing me? I'm right. You know it's not high stakes.
Snacks?
Snacks.
Very low stakes.
This show doesn't have to be high stakes. It's a comedy. You all keep making characters whose backstories is like, I was beaten every day since the age of 5.
You eat it up every time you get to finally do some shit. Like, you get so happy every time you get to fuck some shit up. You're like, oh, yes, finally.
Honestly, it's a defense mechanism. We put all of that stuff in there so you won't blindside us with something even more awful
You
than
can't
what
give
we
us
thought
a
of.
sad backstory if we give it to ourselves.
Yeah, I'm putting you in a box when I do that.
I don't think that's true. I think Laura really hacked it this season because like last season, obviously Nifix was such a high drama, intense character study, and this season she's like, I'm a nice bug. And I never went out of my way to be like, actually, you're a secretly very sad bug.
Honestly, after last season, I just needed a season where, like, no one was mad at me for my character, so I played a nice bug this time.
It's totally a thing. You're like, God, how do I get them to shut up this season? No offense, fans. We love you sometimes.
Yeah, let's start off our finale
All
antagonizing
offense fans. What are they gonna do? I'm gone, baby.
Lauren's off the leash. Oh no, the tiger is out. Yeah, yes, the tiger is free.
Oh my God, that poem is me.
That's you. That's Chappie.
That's Chappie. I don't know why that's so funny every time I hear it.
No one even knows what the fuck I'm talking about, and I still say that all the time.
I know it. I only know what it is because you said it so much. I Googled it.
Oh, what would Austin do if all of our characters died? Like, you'd be like, I guess it's just the episode ends here. You couldn't do anything.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of how season 1 ended?
I throw myself into the sun. All right, come on. Next up.
I throw myself into the sun.
Let's go. We're all gonna die because then you can't stop us from doing what we want if we're dead.
What if the last episode started with you all throwing yourselves into the sun?
I mean,
I don't know, that sounds like a you problem, Austin.
Record scratch. You're probably wondering how this happened.
like,
I was playing in a home game once and someone got a call and they're like, oh, I have to go home and take care of something. And I was like, okay, just what does your character do while you're away? And they're like, can I roll to jump up in the air, flip 180 degrees, and then land on my neck? And then crit!
They're like, I'm done.
It was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Wait, that's the funniest thing you've ever seen?
It's up there.
Conrad, everything that comes out of your mouth is absolutely devastating.
Yes, the tiger is out also.
Oh my god, double tiger.
Double tigers. You guys should get matching jackets.
It's a classic two tiger situation.
Wake up to the job at the bell. No sweat, now I'm feeling swell. Gee golly, it's a beautiful day. Gonna burn my troubles away. I'm going nuclear. Light up the town. The walls that hold me. I'm melting down. I'm rising up like a mushroom cloud. I'm going nuclear. Light up this town. That's right.
So last we left this adventure.
No.
That's not the energy I think we really want to cultivate right now, Laura. I was going for majestic awe and wonder.
It was as funny as I thought it would be, though. I had a good time.
What do I roll to One Punch Man, the final boss?
You rolled a Saitama.
Well, let's get there first, because last we left this adventure, you all jumped aboard the Denetian Chimera that Sven sent to you with his time powers, which have now been revealed to you. I think the last thing you said was, damn, that kid's got some juice, Lola, and then Vireen hung up the Mephit phone. You all jumped aboard and flew away into the sky.
So I guess we're going to the sky.
As you're going up, I mean, you're seeing Wormwood from a whole new angle. Obviously, the cruise ship is a couple stories off the ground, but you've never been how high you're going now. This is like, airplane and higher. And seeing the country recede below you is, well, I don't want to tell you how your characters feel. Why don't you tell me? Is it like beautiful? Or are you just like finally glad to be rid of that place? Or
Tired.
what? Tired.
Just like, oh damn, I know we got this thing, but it's a really far way down to go. Can we all just take a nap and just save Amy and then go to bed?
Don't fall asleep up here. What if you roll over in your sleep and roll off the thing?
I know, I'm not going, how could I sleep up here? They could be like, hey Lola, we gonna be here forever. We're gonna be like here for like a week. You can sleep up here. I ain't sleeping. What if the hippo part tries to eat me in my sleep?
It gives you an eye, a hungry eye, Lola.
Look, it's eyeing me. Look at it.
I don't have to sleep. I can keep an eye out for the hippo one, and I give it a look back.
It looks away sheepishly.
I get wrecked, hippo.
My back hurts.
Thank you. As you see the country below you, you see the glass forest. You see the cruise ship, which has come to a stop on the flats. It will never move again. It is now just a permanent settlement.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. That's just now where the Genasi live. There is Harp City. There's Absinthia. Everything. You can see like people fighting and so forth because the revolution's still going. What catches your eye, and I was going to make you roll perception for this, but it affects the whole country, so I actually am not going to. And that is, there is a strange, almost like ink stains like spreading throughout the salt. There is a color kind of slowly creeping across the ground.
I'm going to guess it's orange.
I'm going to leave all this in so everyone can see how mean you are to me.
Dude, you're so much meaner.
I'm not. I'm baby.
You've made me cry so many times. Not that it's hard, but...
The color creeping across the ground is actually green.
Oh, we picked the synthesis ending. Okay.
I mean, you kind of did. The party doesn't know exactly what's happening. You haven't spoken to Claire since she went off and did whatever she did, but you know that she has, had conduit abilities. She did something to give the rebels determination. She's out there. She's making moves, making choices, and it appears that killing the God King has triggered the last part of whatever she accomplished on her journey.
Nice.
So we're going to fuse with the Modron. I get it. Cool. Okay.
No, the Modron actually already fused. You fought them in the Gork Fields arc. They've been fused.
Yeah.
So we just need to talk to the Star Child then.
We get it. Mass Effect exists.
I'm just saying, Sending's started to kind of sound like Mass Effect. Did we 100% it and we get to see our breath at the end of it to show that we maybe survived?
Austin, how much fun are you having today?
I'm in hell. I'm being tortured by devils and demons.
Of your own making. Let's not,
You made us.
But I think this is a phenomenon you see going on below you, and it might, if it first seem a little scary, like, oh my God, what's happening to the ground? But then you're filled with this sense of peace or calm, or however you feel about, Claire when she reached out to you with her magic powers. I mean, feel free to tell me. But she has done something to this land.
Oh yeah, all animals are gonna love that.
It sure would be good if not all of it was salt and things could live here.
Yeah.
It's really nice when a Dice Funk character, makes the world more habitable as a result of their actions.
unusual too.
So yeah. So you reach the kind of highest point you've ever been. You can look in every direction. You see around Wormwood, because it's this kind of salt, almost like crater where this ocean used to be. And you see in every direction there are other civilizations. There are other towns and cities and countries. To the north, you see an enormous mountain. I don't remember if Duke Pendergrass said to any of you, or if he's just said this to Frida or Clear, but that's where he's from, Mount Grendel to the north, this enormous peak that's outside of Wormwood. But you see the world in all its fullness in a way you've never seen before from this height.
The forbidden animals.
I think looking down, Vindrass is just struck by the fact that everywhere she's ever been all seems so small.
But now everybody looks like ants from up here.
Who's the bug now?
Who's the bug now, indeed? I think she's just really struck by the realization of there's so much places to see.
I like to think Bramwell is looking over the side of it, and he has seen a world that he has crossed before in his life. And I think as a cool contrast, as Vindrass is thinking about all the adventures that could be ahead, Bramwell is thinking about all the times that are behind him now and kind of reminiscing on it in that way.
Oh, yeah. I like to imagine also that you have like tattoos of some of the landmarks in the distance that you don't remember. You're like, ooh, that looks like a cool settlement. And then on your back, there's like an entire Yakuza back piece of that town.
It's on his back, so he never sees it. How's he going to remember?
It's like, fucking dude, where's my car?
At some point, Vindrass looks over and sees the sort of reminiscing look on Bramwell's face and is just quietly whispering, not going to let you die. I'm not going to let you die. Not gonna let you die.
You stop that.
Stop looking wistful.
Put that death back where it came from, or so help me.
You don't need to reminisce. You're going to live forever. It's fine.
Put that thing back, or so help me.
This is something in my life that happens a lot, where my girlfriend would pick up her cat and be like, "You're gonna die. Yes, you are. Any minute now. You're on death's door." And I'm like, "Shh, don't listen to her. You're gonna live forever. You're gonna come to our funerals. I have a little suit picked out for you to stand over my grave."
You're gonna die.
Oh, your cat's the one that shoots off the arrow to light your
My funeral pyre.
casket? Yeah.
Perfect. I hope she does. So the party reaches the cracks in the sky if you're all done reminiscing and talking, and you enter just this dark tunnel because there's quite a lot of ground that has been blasted away by that mech laser beam. And you're just like descending into darkness as you hear the beat of the chimera's wings, and you can like smell earth around you. I think maybe in the distance you can see a pinprick of light. Maybe even the bumble sloth made from salt that Amy is trapped inside of as it breaches the surface.
I'm sorry.
Yeah?
You said the beat of the chimera's wings, and in the back of my head, it just went.
That should be canon. Yeah, it's a mosquito, but it'd be much funnier if it was a
Okay, but can
club
Lola
beat.
start like raving? Who has glow sticks?
Is that the vibe you all want to carry through this dark tunnel as the wings are going...
What are you gonna do, Austin? Stop me!
And Bramwell cast the cantrip light, and that's just the fucking rave.
Yeah.
What the glow
You're not
sticks.
my boss anymore. I do what I want.
And you all rave up to the surface.
Oh yeah, that's the image I want.
And so the light gets closer and closer, and I think there's just this silent held breath in the group until you emerge into sunlight, and you have never tasted air quite like this. I don't know if you have the words for it. It's like fresh in a way that, in contrast, you're like, oh, I've been breathing canned air my entire life, and I didn't realize because I just thought that's what the world was.
Well, hang on. Is it Perrier?
Yeah, it's honestly that Spaceballs bit with the canned air.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's overwhelming, though. It's like, oh my gosh, it can be like this? And the sky is immediately terrifying, or, maybe it's wondrous to you, but you see something you've never seen before, which to you are just giant looming shapes. I don't know if you know the word planets. There are a half dozen planets in the sky, and they are too close to you. They are in a way, if you understood like mass and gravity, you would assume, oh, we're being sucked into the orbit of these planets, we're going to die. That's how close they are. But they're not. They've been placed there by the old gods in the heavens, the stars and the planets, to watch over the top layer, because you are on the surface.
Oh well.
Oh.
Look at that. Is there any snacks up here?
Are there any snacks up here? The chimera kind of pinwheels around like it was going straight up, and now it goes level with the ground, and you can look around on the landscape. And the sky was the first thing that struck you, because these like half dozen huge looming orbs in the sky, different colors, some have rings. They're gorgeous, but also awe-inspiring. And there's these smattering of stars, which you don't have any reference for. There's just these weird twinkling lights. The air is strangely bracing and wonderful, and all around you the landscape is vibrant and shifting in a weird way. Like you see the ground, and one moment it's dirt, and then the next it's water, and then it's fire, and then it's a mountain, and then it's a valley. The whole ground here is alive and shifting and moving and trying to find the shape that it will be born into.
This feels like a lot.
I like to think
Process.
Bramwell is going to look at this, pull off his monocle, breathe on it, wipe it off on his vest, and look again. He's like, nope, still have no idea what's happening here.
That's a relatable glasses moment.
And like 100 yards away from you, you see the pink bumble sloth has come to a rest in the middle of a plateau here. It's like a flat part of the ground overlooking maybe an ocean that is water one minute and then gas and then some kind of combination and then it's electricity. And Amy steps out of the bumble sloth covered in salt, but clearly she's in her body, she's physical, and she's standing next to the bumble sloth, and they're both kind of just looking over this cliff at the world around them.
Alright, I'm on my way.
On your way?
I'm on my way.
Well, Lola, you're in charge of animals, so I think you can say authoritatively you bring the chimera to a landing near the bumble sloth and the party can dismount.
It's either that or I was gonna like skydive.
Yeah, that's got to be
Like-
extremely extra.
Yeah, well, that's like 99% of my personality. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna get over there. Amy, hey, are you? Relatively speaking, are you alright?
Yeah, Amy's doesn't turn around to look at you. You see she's covered in, both white like table salt and like pink crystal salt. She's looking out over the landscape as it kind of shifts and morphs below you. And she says, "It's beautiful, isn't it?"
It is, yeah. A little scary, but sometimes scary things are beautiful, like sharks.
Like sharks.
They're so cute, but they're so scary. Or, alligators.
God damn it, Lauren. I did 38 pretentious episodes of podcasts to try to capture the terror inherent in potential and the beauty inherent in potential and the conflict between the two. And you just said, like sharks, and just summed it all up. You fucking jag.
What? They're cute and scary.
Yeah. Just like
What do you want from me?
just like the
Just tell
unknown.
truth.
just like everything outside of what you know.
Yeah, but with teeth.
My father was so scared of the world outside of Wormwood that he couldn't control. He dedicated his entire life to this, and she gestures at the big salt bumble sloth and says it was a kind of going away present for whichever child had a conduit so he could rule in his name. I could have all of this. I could be the Liberator Queen.
Is that even like what you want anymore, though?
I want what's best for my people. I could give them a whole layer. I could give them the surface. And she gestures all around you. Like, this is the first time you see her, and she's like, pale and like maybe has been crying. It's like she's very overwhelmed. She was just absorbed into a magical construct filled with like tens of thousands of murdered souls.
Yeah.
And she says, it would take generations to figure out all this land up here, to make it habitable and hospitable. It could all be our kingdom, and I could give it to them.
Oh, my dear Amy, perhaps you missed the developments happening down in Wormwood.
Yeah, the surface is looking pretty good right now. Very green. All over.
The people of Wormwood will never accept me back. They hate my father. They hate me. The revolution disowned me. I lost my faith advisor who was going to help me. I don't have anything down there.
Well, you got me. And the crew. I mean, we're kind of jerks, but... but we do care. I mean,
We're trying to make things better.
Maybe your role is to make things better, on a small scale.
Why should I have to give it up? I trained my entire life for this. I gave up everything for this. I killed my own mother.
Aren't you tired?
Fuck. I'm so tired, Lola.
Yeah. You're not... I don't know a lot about science and anatomy, but like your brain isn't even done doing adult brain growing. Like, you didn't have a childhood. Why you gotta throw away your young adulthood?
For my people? To spite my father, who was so terrified of the world outside of Wormwood that he killed all these people? What if I give it back to them?
Your father's dead. Doesn't matter. You won't get the satisfaction of them being spited.
You don't live the rest of your life to spite someone who's dead.
You are not alone, Amy. All of the Wolfworm children, I believe, are in similar states of confusion to you are right now. And I believe even your younger sister has some manner of effect of what's going on there. And I can't say for certain, but I believe she may have made a choice also about what the people should decide. and offered that to them.
My mother told me that when she left Clear, she had reached the bottom of the world, where something my father was afraid of was hidden. That must be what's going on down there. If he's dead now, whatever he was trying to hold back all these years can finally come to the country.
Wouldn't you like to see what that is? What Wormwood can truly be?
Yeah, so I 100% expected this entire campaign to lead up to a boss fight here, either because you aligned with her in the rebellion and then you betray her at the end, or because you abandon her at that crucial moment that Lola ended up staying back and she resents you. But persuasion checks?
We made choices.
We were doing that thing that we do every season where it's like, oh, boss fight, you mean friend.
I know, but I made her so bad. She sucks so much. Why is
She's a kid who's in abused her whole life, Austin. How would I not sympathize?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, your mistake was you created a sympathetic means for us to approach this problem.
Yeah, God King, he sucked to suck. Fucking suck sack the entire time. You need more of him.
Yeah.
I got a 12 on persuasion.
I crit.
God damn.
Amy at this point is like looking down, thinking about what you're saying, but her hand is on the knife at her side. She has the same kind of metal knife that, Clear had when you saw her. It has a black gem instead of a blue one because she got negative from her father instead of water. But she seems like she's torn between trying to assert herself as liberator queen and, as Lola said, just resting.
Like living like a person.
And you crit, even though you're not the charisma character anymore. So you tell me how the final battle goes, or I guess the final conversation, because this is Dice Funk and we don't always have a final boss battle.
I'm curious how you're gonna one up giving plutonium a hug.
Yeah.
Vireen's going to take a couple steps closer to Amy. And he's going to say, I know it can feel overwhelming when your entire life has been determined for you, that it's going to go one course and you're set on a path you don't think you can just leave. But every once in a while, you do get an opportunity to start over. I'd take it.
You did not just create common ground between a slave and a princess, you son of a bitch.
Owned.
You gosh darn genius, Conrad.
I think Amy drops the knife blade down into the ground, and I think the ground eats it.
Why? Just for fun? Just because it makes you happy?
Yeah, this whole world is waiting to determine its shape. I think Amy kneels down on the ground as it goes, puts a hand where it was and says, I think the old gods wanted us to find this place eventually and start over. It's like they preserved our history below and then left us a blank canvas above.
Which sounds kind of lazy for a god, but whatever.
Lauren, you're talking about your character did this from last season.
I'm not a god. I just pet animals.
No, Cordelia did this.
Yeah, well, Lauren isn't in the world of the show. You can't yell at Lola for what Cordelia did.
I know, it's just very funny because she was the god of, art and expression. And she was paint your own world with all the colors of the wind. And you're like, nerd!
Yeah!
Yelling at your own self.
Yeah, fucking on brand.
I think Amy digs into her pack and pulls out a skull. which none of you have any concept of being part of her whole style. Only Claire has seen this.
I just kind of assume it's probably her mom. That's a whole weird thing.
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. And she places it on the ground, and the ground also kind of opens up and accepts it. And so the first person interred on the surface of the world is Belle Wolfram.
I think that's a really, I don't know, it's kind of special.
That's all she can handle. And Amy kind of just lays down. And the salt bumble sloth kind of looks around and then just starts losing its features, and once again just becomes kind of a pile of salt.
Can I attempt to like pick her up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Carry her? Yeah.
I guess let's go home.
In your arms, Bramwell, Amy says, I had a whole boss fight planned. I was going to take your potential and like use it against you. Like I was going to summon an animal because that's what Lola can do. And then I was going to go into a berserker rage because that's what Vireen can do.
Sweet, sweet girl. No need for those words. Just rest.
I had it
Let
all planned
the
out.
secrets never be told.
Vindrass like sidles up and goes, what about me? What are you going to do with me?
Spirit Guardians. That's her whole thing.
I mean,
the Spirit
yeah,
Guardians.
yeah, that's pretty good actually. I was gonna wait until you tried to kill one of the party, and then like I was gonna keep Bramwell alive. That was the whole plan, keep Bramwell alive. Don't know if I'd have managed it. I was gonna try and do it.
Yeah, I think you missed a lot, Amy, but he's got like a weird death wish.
The scene's just fading out as they're all discussing how that fight would have gone.
Oh, it would have been so lit.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know, Amy don't gotta live anywhere she wanna, but Lola Beans, and by proxy Zer, because he does what I tell him to.
Okay.
It's not, I didn't do it, he just listens, I don't know, man.
You wear the wings in that relationship?
I sure do, and no tail, though. Still a weird little candy cane, getting better every day. But I want to, like, you know, I don't know, set up like a farm, but not just any normal farm, you know? It's like an animal sanctuary. And I was thinking maybe, like, Amy could be kind of like the, you know, traveling animal friend.
I mean, Amy also already displayed an aptitude for keeping bumble sloths. She had a whole like hive of them at the gore fields. Is that where you set up, or is it you can be anywhere in Wormwood, or you can leave the country? It's up to you. But Amy will absolutely.
Well, I figure we set up in the gore field, and then Amy goes out and explores the parts of the country that we didn't know were there, and like she comes across an animal who needs to be like rehabilitated. Mm-hmm. She'll bring it back, and we'll help it.
And so you, Lola Beans, Zer, and Amy Wolfram retire from adventuring and become animal sanctuary custodians.
Also the plutonium elemental.
Okay, so does anybody else want to call dibs on the plutonium elemental? Because Lola hasn't even never met him. So that...
But he talked like a baby, so he can live on the farm.
I don't know if Vireen would have any reason to want the plutonium elemental, but I feel like they would get first dibs if they wanted them.
Well... You know,
yeah.
The plutonium elemental will probably travel with Vireen, but
oh, that's better.
It you'll see it a lot. Don't worry.
Oh, what? Is everyone gonna drop their babies off here? I think I'm a babysitter now.
Yeah, you're like the nursing. What is it called? You're like in Pokemon, the nursery where you leave.
I'm Nurse Joy.
The daycare center.
Yeah, people leave their weird animals and get cool new hybrids, and it's not sex. The eggs just mysteriously appear. Is the canon in Pokemon? In case you're not aware of this, listener, there's no sex in Pokemon. You just leave two animals, and then an egg appears. That's it.
Does that mean there's no dicks in Pokemon?
Lauren, I can't make the episode title, There's No Dicks in Pokemon, but I appreciate the hustle.
You're welcome.
You could make it There's No Dongs in Pokemon.
That actually flows better.
That's true.
So Zur retires from being the bandit king of the Glass Forest and becomes what the animal king of the Gorefields, and he's still very extra.
Pancake King.
The pancake, yes, I'm sorry, the pancake king of the Gorefields.
He's put all his effort into that now.
Yes.
Because it worked one time.
Yeah, I mean, is Yuminora still there? Because Yuminora worked at the animal sanctuary when we left him. Is that?
Yeah. I'm not gonna kick this baby out. He's a well-behaved boy.
Mm-hmm. Are you become close with him too?
I try. I know sometimes, Clear's not here to help mentor him, Figure might as well, take care of him until she gets back. He's got a little helmet on. What could go wrong?
I think you bring Yuminora a selection of different helmets and hats for him to try on, and you're having a little fashion show with him.
If you want to try to diversify your look, you can just straw hat. There's a sun hat. It's like a straw hat, but less country looking. There's a baseball hat. I don't know what baseball is, but there's hats for it.
I think Amy comes over. She's riding Stuart. I think they're good friends now, and she's just going for a walk, going for walkies around the sanctuary, and she comes over to you and says, "What nice hats."
Yeah, you want one?
Yeah. What do you think will look best? I talked to Bramwell once about how I never really got to pick my own food because I was a princess and I had servants for that. And
wait, they don't let you choose food though? I feel like that's like the one good thing you get from being a princess is at least you can probably eat what you want, right?
No, my dad had like special chefs and they made everything. I also didn't get to pick my own clothes. Is where I was going with that. So I don't know what to pick as far as hats go.
Well, it's like you look and even if it's just a little spark. Something like resonates, that's your hat.
Something resonates. Interesting. I think she spends she literally takes a bunch of hats, sits down on the ground, and then holds her hands over them and tries to feel their energy for 20 minutes, and is just sitting there.
She's doing that. Can I make her a cake?
Uh-huh.
Because she wasn't allowed to eat if she wanted. I don't know if she had cake.
Uh-huh.
Also, Lola wants cake because Lauren wants cake.
Yeah, I mean, Zur definitely in the background, I am the Pancake King and also the Cake King.
You ever thought about making a trifle, but using pancakes as layers instead of regular cakes? I think that could be good.
I've had enough layers for one lifetime, honestly.
Layers are not as fun in your life, if they're, the shape of the world, but they're a lot of fun to eat.
Amy's sitting there with her hats for 20 minutes trying to pick one off its energy. Eventually just kind of looks up at you, Lola, and says, "Hey, Lola."
Yeah.
Why didn't you leave me behind? Everyone always leaves me behind.
Well, that was part of why. I mean, and first of all, it's pretty shitty if somebody's like, "Oh, hey, there's my body that I need help getting back." Oh, you're leaving? Bye. But yeah, I mean, you kind of said you didn't get pick anything yourself. You had a lot of people fail you, and yeah, honestly, you were turning into kind of a jerk. But you had nothing really.
I had everything. I was a princess. That's the whole thing. You could have easily killed me like you killed my father. I just don't understand how you choose who lives and dies, I guess.
I don't know. Just there was no hope in your father. You're young enough. You're young enough that maybe you could, some actual affection. Free from things you had to do. I don't know. I wasn't gonna leave you. Yeah, you're still a kid. I know you're basically an adult in your mind, but you're still really young, and then I don't know. I felt. I don't know. I saw something in you that was, what if I had? Well, nobody abandoned me because I didn't really have people around. But if I did and they all abandoned me, like, I couldn't imagine.
I literally had Lola come face to face with her own skull, and she wasn't phased.
Listen, skulls happen.
Skulls happen. I think Amy opens her mouth to say something sappy, and thank you, but then Zer comes in and goes, I made a tort!
He made a tort!
I don't know what a tort is, but I made one.
It's a kind of cake! Did they let you eat cake?
I'm all caked up.
Yes, sir, we know you're caked up. Talk about it all the time.
He twerks into this conversation.
Listen, okay, I respect the hustle. Twerking is a lot of work.
Yeah, it is. I gotta keep, in shape so I can fly.
You don't need your butt to fly.
Not the way I do it.
Okay, well, Amy, we have cake. You want to eat some cake? It's really good. Stuart can have a little bit as a treat, but...
No, I think the way this ends is you gather everyone for some cake, and then Stuart busts into just like a fucking bowl at a China shop and refreeze frame as the cake goes flying.
Just grab whatever chunks you can. This happens every time.
Yeah, in the freeze frame, you see the Panglora's tongue shooting out towards the cake.
Yep.
You see the deal seal creeping in from the side.
The Bweagle's just like the tip of his little nose.
Yeah, he's too big to fit in the picture.
It's like in the skylight that it was created by the Bweagle.
So the last order of business before you can truly say that your adventure and your journey is complete is you have to lead a pilgrimage of the halflings to the surface, because that's where the salt is with all their potential.
Let's all get on the Bweagle.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, halflings as a species and Dice Funk are essentially going to go extinct. So, because they're all just, the Dark Sun did them dirty.
Oh, well, that's okay. We could just add hobbits then.
So Lola, you at your animal sanctuary, you have Bweagles, and so they're huge. They're blue whale size. And so what, you and Amy mount up on Bweagles and just scoop up halflings in their giant mouths?
The Bweagle's like, I would like it if you all stopped cannibalizing.
Now that, okay, I was thinking of a kind of a pilgrimage, but actually with a giant blue whale, I think it might be more efficient to do it the opposite way, which is to scoop up the salt in their mouths and bring it to the halflings rather than vice versa.
Oh, yeah, that's cute. It's like a little delivery. Like, knock, knock, it's here. What do we have? It's a present. It's your potential. Happy birthday.
So what, do they snort it?
Of course they do. It's a white powder.
Conrad's like, I'm kind of invested in the mental image of Bilbo ripping a fat line.
Just doing rails off of, what's the, Samwise's cock, just...
No, that's Frodo.
Mr. Frodo.
Listen, they had a hard journey. Hard.
Shut up.
I didn't do that on purpose in this one. Just shut my mouth. Who do you think you are?
Wait, so you're telling me this season ends with all the halflings getting together and just going fucking Scarface?
Listen, every now and then you have to go on a bender. It's how you keep your head right. Like once a year. The halflings have had a hard time. Let them enjoy their drugs.
Ask anyone who's done a bunch of coke. They'll tell you about how they'll feel full of potential.
Oh, yeah. Well. Yeah.
Briefly,
yeah, I was going to say. You know what's fun? Not cocaine.
Not cocaine, no.
It's not. Don't do drugs, kids. I say, about to hit my vape.
Captain Young and the Thriller Bark, after extensive repairs from the battles, head off as kind of the first expedition team to map and explore the surface of the world.
Oh, I'm so proud of them.
All of the people that you met on your journey have parts to play, and we'll get there. But I think Young is uniquely placed as the captain of a famous ship of the Revolution to get the best of the best crew and travel. Actually, because the crack in the sky you went through, here's an interesting detail. Eventually, it heals.
Oh.
Ah.
Well, good for this guy.
The old gods didn't make the world that fragile. But now that you know what's up there, I think expeditions are sent to Mount Grendel to the north, where Duke Pendergrass is from, and the tallest mountain in the known layer. I was gonna say in the known world. If you go all the way to the top, it's much easier to kind of crack a hole in the sky and go up there and explore. And Young is going to be the first captain to do so. So they go around and kind of recruit all of the best and the best of the best and the coolest and brightest to be their crew. And so Young's going to go around and see who wants to go on a journey with them. So I want to establish that in case any of you want to join on those ventures.
I don't want to break the tone of this, but all I'm picturing is someone climbing to the top of, Mount Everest and then just getting a broom and just sort of jabbing up as if someone would, their noisy upstairs neighbor, trying to be like, where is it?
Yeah.
Try to get the loft hatch down.
That is kind of the vibe, yeah.
Throwing rocks straight up in the air.
Because there's a lot to explore there. I don't know if I should say this. Maybe I'll edit this out. But that's season 9 is the surface after some people get up there and some things get established. Not season 8, which I haven't said what it is. But that's season 9. So
Vindrass definitely has a moment of thinking about what it would be like to go off on that adventure. It would be very much the epitome of go see a bunch of new things, the big adventure. But I think ultimately for Vindrass, she's had enough big adventure. We went and killed one king. There was a war. It was a lot. Adventure is not necessarily all it's cracked up to be. A nice gentle explorer of things might be more her speed. So I think it's definitely the thing she daydreams a little bit about, until the expedition goes off. Is yeah, but I could though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean we're here. So why don't you tell me about Vindrass and what she does after the revolution?
I think it's maybe interesting if me and Conrad do ours together, because I think Vindrass and Vireen, very much, very very much go do the same thing. Do you want to get us started?
Sure.
Conrad?
So after the revolution, Vireen wants to. Vireen's not interested in what is out there above the sky, because he still feels that there's a lot that still needs to be done here before anybody's even ready to create a new world.
At least one season's worth, yeah.
Yeah. So, instead, he wants to. So instead, they want to travel throughout Wormwood and trying to find the people who can't integrate into the new society. The people who are too broken or too traumatized or just simply won't fit anymore. And give them a few choices.
And I think for Vindrass, the choice to come along on this adventure, as much as there's the allure to seeing, a whole other world. When we were, making the flight up there and seeing this world from up above, there's plenty of this world still to see, and Vindrass would rather see this impossible to see all of it world, alongside Vireen than a different one without.
Aww.
Yay.
Yeah, I think it's nice for Vindrass that Vindrass can go back to where this started somewhat in terms of go around and look after people and make sure people are okay.
Now, is this dynamic reversed? Because when it started, obviously there was the charismatic cult leader and their groupie, and now it's like the famous artist and her bodyguard. I don't know how you flavor that, but I imagine people perceive you in the exact opposite dynamic now.
Probably, yeah. Which is fine, and for Vireen's purposes, it doesn't matter. He's just help fix things, and give other people the opportunity to start over. Meaning that could be going to Lola's animal sanctuary, or it could mean going to Denise.
I was trying to think what Denise does after this, because after she makes enough, denizens, she probably goes on to make some other terrifying creatures and monsters. The political changes in Wormwood do not give her a moment's pause.
No,
it's like someone telling her about baseball scores.
I wouldn't have it any other way, though.
Well, it's like when the Third Reich fell.
Oh, I knew you were going there.
Are you saying we're Operation Paperclipping her?
Basically, yeah.
Oh no! I was about to say, is this our most wholesome finale? And then Nazis happen.
Is this with these Nazi comparisons? Is this our most?
I was like, oh, we're helping people, and then Nazis. Oh Lord, what a Tuesday.
You can definitely dip in and visit her. I don't know if you want to have a scene or there. I was definitely thinking the Mephits, having had a taste of adventure, join Young's crew.
Oh yeah, they're such good weirdos.
Yeah.
Who else? I think Dwayne, and I think Dr. Smooth.
See, here's the secret. Of course, Dwayne goes up to the surface because Dwayne's known about the surface all along.
Yeah.
That's where the treasure was hidden.
Dwayne was secretly the guy the whole time.
Dwayne's been playing 4D chess this entire time.
Yeah.
Dwayne was king the whole time.
After the credits, there's a codec call where Dwayne reveals he was part of the Patriots the whole time. Yeah, so I think if none of the player characters are going to join Young's crew, then it's Dwayne, the Mephits, and Dr. Smooth at least. So that's just, I'm putting that out there.
Do
that's
they
in the ether.
stop to rest their horses at my farm?
Aw, of course.
Okay, good. Yeah, give me all the animals in the season.
Lauren's like, I got what I came for. I don't care about my own skull. I don't care about my backstory. None of that matters.
Give me that. You bring me more pictures of animals. No.
So yeah, for Vindrass, I think that the joy is very much watching Vireen thrive and doing art and traveling and just being like, hey, you're doing really good at the thing you're doing and you're helping a lot of people and I'm just gonna watch and smile and do pictures.
Oh, that's so cute.
I'm sure someone's going to ask, so I think the next part of the epilogue is just at least addressing what happens in the power vacuum, because God King Wolfram's death does not mean everyone is immediately thrust into a perfect utopia. I think because none of the players actively, wanted the throne or supported a candidate, which is a totally, fine thing. None of you had to do that. Although I'd say in my offline games, anytime someone offers to become a king or a god, that every player immediately becomes feral in an attempt to get that.
That's so much work.
Yeah, those people have no idea what that actually entails.
Idiots, fools.
You got roleplay a bunch of losers who are unchecked power? No thanks, that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, my argument was, aren't you tired?
Yeah. But yeah, players I played with offline, immediately when that's on the table, they will walk over the bodies of every other player character to get there. Just unhinged. But you all had no interest in that. So what happens in the power vacuum is that there's kind of a revolutionary council. There's the Wormwood Workers' Party that, is kind of the council that runs this state, and people from each major area send representatives. So some of them you don't know because you didn't meet every important person in the entire country, but some people you did meet were Charlie, who looks after Gorefield and Mole's interests. Angelo and Ramsey, the Lepidopterans.
The jerks.
Were they jerks?
They're kind of shitty. I mean, like, they're good, but they're being like, well, I'm gonna do stuff to you because I don't like the choices that you make.
I think if you saw them and they were played by Hugh Dancy and Mads Mikkelsen, you would appreciate them more.
Fuck off. Don't call me out.
Diana, the Merciel, and actually, of all people, Marcel Wolfram returns to the country after it is safe to do so, to basically de-radicalize the Genasi population. Because obviously...
Aw, good boy.
There are still Genasi who are like, no, obviously we're this superior people, we run the shit, like, let's kill the people who oppose us, like the South will rise again style. And Marcel is someone who those people, because of their ideology, like, at least sort of respond to, because he is, blood related to the king, the oldest male heir. And so he kind of steps in to join this council.
I was like, what if we just throw all the Genasi who want to rebel into the hippo mouth?
So, I mean, that is a thing. That listen, this has been a very Maoist season. I think people have
terrible.
Commented that season 4 there was like a corrupt power structure, and the solution was very Leninist vanguardism, where you have like kind of a small group of people who are very motivated who overthrow the system for the masses. Where this season was the masses rising up and land reform specifically being the major issue. So like there's a lot of contrast and a lot of, I think you could write a paper on like Maoism and Leninism and Dice Funk and contrast these two seasons. But throwing all of the Genasi into a hippo mouth is very, that's very Mao. So you don't have to like it. I'm just saying it's true.
Okay.
But yeah, that's kind of the Revolutionary Council, is like, 2 or so people from each major settlement coming together to make decisions for the country going forward. And it's not perfect.
Where's the Duke? Is he there going, oh no?
Well, that'll be a scene. I think the Duke disappears from the world stage.
Are we mad? No.
None of you care. I just think Frida is gonna go back to her bad boyfriend because that's who Joa is.
Self-awareness, huh?
Bad taste in men, confirmed.
But yeah. I'm kidding.
The Duke dick be hitting different.
Oh, shut up. Fuck off. I hope he falls off a mountain now. Oh no, I'm falling.
What if that was the last scene? It was just him falling off a series of mountains.
That would be really funny. Only if you went, oh no. I'm falling.
We'll start with Bramwell. And I imagine Bramwell is absolutely approached about going on Young's trip. And he respectfully declines because he is retired now.
Aww.
He is gone on his adventures. He has seen all the sights he wishes to see. He just does not have it in him anymore. But I believe that he will relay to Young that he has the utmost faith in them as a captain. As for what he does, I believe Bramwell's probably going to, because now the world has like plant life and things like that. It's feasible now to actually live in the spots between the major settlements.
Oh, yeah.
I imagine Bramwell builds like a very small, kind of quaint cottage for himself, not too far away from Absinthia. And every day he has a routine where he'll get on Preposterous, who he reunited with, and together they ride off to go visit Sven.
Aw, he's a good boy.
And it is just an opportunity to basically spend time with Sven. It's sort of like every day comes in the spa, I think is what the part we saw was, or the resort rather.
Yeah, the resort.
The resort comes into the resort, stays for, a couple hours around sundown, gets back on Preposterous, and meanders his way back home, and that continues for several months, and then only Preposterous shows up.
Oh, you son of a bitch!
Oh.
Vindrass tried so hard.
Everyone dies someday.
Why is this? You sound so happy that you did this, Chris.
No, I just think this is how the story was gonna go.
Oh yeah, he's let him rest.
He did. He got quite a lot of rest.
Vindrass, in the corner of the scene, is having to be held back from trying to use Revivify.
Actually, no resurrection magic works on death from old age, which is why liches exist. But yeah, that's actually the one loophole.
Yeah.
But Preposterous still keeps making the trip, even though even his little hair is getting gray and old at this point. But still keeps making the trip for Sven.
It's fine.
Oh.
Old age is acceptable so long as you weren't killed.
Nope.
Vindrass did her job.
Well, yeah, okay, two things. One, I have to put the mental image out there of Sven as a young man, like, 18 or so, like, I don't know, maybe 20, like an adventurer. He's got...
Pickle.
Huh?
Pickle.
Pickle? Oh, Pickle, the hog rat, the rat hog. Yeah, in like his little coat pocket. I was thinking, but he looks like a cool adventurer, like a badass, like going out to do his first D&D adventure, but he's riding Preposterous as he leaves.
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe even has the gentleman's greeting as his weapon.
Absolutely.
Can Pickle have the monocle?
Oh, yes, that's adorable.
And then I think Bramwell's little cottage that he made is now just a safe haven for anyone who needs to use it.
Oh.
Staples, I think, retires to Absinthia with the inner sewing circle. She spends her days recreationally stabbing things, which is to say knitting.
Wait,
I think
did she get her bone back?
I think she can ask for it back when Vireen rolls through town, because Vireen and Vindrass are going on adventures, and they mentioned that they occasionally take the plutonium elemental with them. But I think the plutonium elemental at the end of the day sleeps, in Absinthia, just because that's the 50s suburbs vibe really goes well with the looming nuclear threat, I think.
I mean, if you're trying to find somewhere for them to live that is just tonally relevant, then sure.
Oh, did I say on the Revolutionary Council, Marcel, Diana, the Moths, Charlie, and I didn't say the Dowlings, Cindy Dowling and Commander Dowling. They are husband and wife. You've met them both separately. Mm-hmm. You did not realize they were married. You know who especially didn't realize they were married was Vireen when he was sleeping with Cindy.
These things happen.
Oh. Send him back home, huh?
Yeah.
Whoops.
But obviously they don't recognize you, so I don't think you ever face any consequences for any of that.
That's the good part of all of this.
I love to not face consequences. Accountability is fake.
There are consequences. I'm sure that they're felt, but not directly.
Yeah, so the Dowlings also probably serve on the Revolutionary Council at various points because they are kind of prominent figures in that community. I want to say the last thing about Absinthia is, what do you think's the future of the Path of the Joining? Is that a thing that flourishes? Does it eventually die out? Is it a weird fluke? How are the people involved in that feeling?
Yeah, I don't know that it's something that actually has staying power. It could if it managed to spread outside of Absinthia, and that's not impossible. It is sort of evangelical in its approach, so to speak. But it's equally possible that it could just fade away, once life resumes a non-war stance and there's not a sense of lacking in that way.
Yeah, tell me how you feel about this, but I feel like this goes down in the history books as like the God King was, a very divisive figure, and I think the Turex grew disgruntled by having their people conscripted but not getting a voice in government, and obviously the moles had a slave uprising, and like people remember that's why the military conflict happened. But his actual death goes down as people say like there was this weird religious cult, there was this weird movement that started called the Path of the Joining, and some of their kind of extremist outlier members just YOLO'd the king and then faded into obscurity. Like people don't necessarily have the full picture on that, and that's just kind of like a weird footnote, the way people talk about like the Black Hand in regards to like World War One.
Oh yeah, I mean, it could wind up becoming some sort of foundational conspiracy theory myth, in years hence. But in terms of like being significant, I think it's probably more just a footnote item.
I feel like anything that leads our cast of player characters to be forgotten as a weird footnote in history only known in rumor and myth is about the fate they deserve.
It's pretty cool also.
True. I mean, Vindrass, would you rather be remembered as a great artist or as the person who killed the king? Do you want people knowing that?
Exactly. I think the art career is a much calmer way to be remembered.
You're Vindrass the artist, and people probably can tie you back to the path. But like, hey, weren't you a member of that weird group that killed the king? And you're like, well, I know some of those people, but I was never really into that.
I think if anyone ever asks Vindrass about it, it's like and sort of mumbling, and then we'll be like, do you want me to draw a huge mural on that wall for you?
Artists go through phases, and it was a particular interesting time in my life, a very vibrant group of people, but I've moved on.
I learned a lot that has inspired my future works. This giant piece you see depicting the death of the God King would not be possible had I not made such fascinating friends at one time in my life.
And so your art obviously lives on in Absinthia. I think it becomes like part of like the identity of that region is the famous murals that you do there. As well as I want to say is Weaver's presence in the community leads to a tradition of Turek having psionics, because as written, the Turek are a very one-note kind of D&D thing. They're just like, what if post-apocalyptic orcs? And then that's never really expanded upon. But I think in our universe, they're also distinguished from orcs by being extremely powerfully psionic now.
All I want to add to this is that, like, it takes several years for people to notice, but, like, Vindrass is hiding little butts somewhere in all of her art.
Oh my god.
And as soon as people realize it's a thing, it's like, oh god, it's been in the art for years and we've never seen it.
We've been staring at butts the whole time!
Claire has to still get out of the hole she has literally and figuratively dug herself into. And the last layer is basically the creeping, unending flesh pits. And that takes a while to get out of because it's gross and awful, and it requires climbing basically just straight up because it doesn't seem like there's anything else to do except climb up that massive hole. So Claire's attempting that, but I imagine she falls many times back into the water of the previous floor. And the entire time she's climbing up, she has to kind of deal with a lot of the thoughts that are on her mind. The weight of the decision she ultimately has made, that she doesn't know the results of. She can only hope that if she gets back to the surface, it's to a world that isn't ruled with an iron gauntlet by the God King, pretty much. She has to think about what her mother has essentially said to her. And then ultimately what she feels about herself and what it meant to be a conduit and to no longer be one. So Clear, I think, after quite a while, does eventually manage to climb all the way to the top and dig herself out of the hole that she started all that time ago. And when she re-arrives in Wormwood, she sees it with green for the first time in her life. And she takes a moment to just kind of stop and appreciate the beauty of it all. And then she gets going because she has somewhere she has to be. And that's it. Credits.
Fuck you. Tell me. I'm the audience now, and I'm mad on their behalf. Tell me.
No.
No, that's what I expected.
Chris, we can wait, Chris. Chris, we can wait.
Покайся богам, пацан, ведь во всем виноват ты сам. Похоже, ты влип, пацан, и расхлебывать будешь сам. И расхлебывать будешь сам. Боги не услышат твоих слов. Их защиты не ищи ты. И плевать на тебя, пацан, поживешь и увидишь сам. И если попал в просак, то расхлебывать будешь сам. То расхлебывать будешь сам. Дикий буйвол, он догонит тебя, пацан. Энце в черном платье поиграет тобой, пацан. Рофус выпьет соки, вынет душу твою, пацан. Миссия, мать без сына, в этом тоже виноват ты сам. В этом тоже виноват ты сам. Боги не услышат твоих слов. Их защиты не ищи ты. Покайся богам, пацан, ведь во всем виноват ты сам. Похоже, ты влип, пацан, и расхлебывать будешь сам. И расхлебывать будешь сам. Спасибочки.
Once again, winter will soon be upon us. For me, that means taking inventory of the notes that others have been able to gather from above, and converting them into a usable map of the stars to pair with our maps from below. Hopefully, I will be able to better tell what the future holds for us, and what the stars have to tell about who we really are.